You know, with this AI thing, it's going to take a lot of jobs away. And most of the people that will have jobs are the ones that work with AI as far as repairing and technical support and the IT and things like that. It's hard to say because it's so early just how it's going to affect everyone, but it is going to affect everyone. It already has, just to a smaller degree right now. But that's not going to stay that way. It's going to get bigger. They spent trillions and trillions of dollars on developing AI. And don't think for a minute they don't want that money back. They want it all back and more. They want trillions more. NVIDIA is a maybe it's $5 trillion company now. AI chips, they didn't do that for nothing. So, but the point I'm trying to make is they don't respect you now. I mean, look what Musk did. He fired people that made $20 an hour or $50 an hour, and did it like in an email. He fired them in an email. Clean up your desk and go home. Don't come back. They didn't even know what they did. A lot of the people they fired, they fired nuclear people that threw nuclear weapons by mistake. That's how much they didn't know what they did. So if AI comes around and does what they predicted to do, they're not going to care about you. They're going to fire you, and they're not going to care. But the problem is, I'm not saying I'm going to scare you, but it's going to be a transitional time between people that work and people that don't. And can you imagine all these people that work now having 40 or 50 hours a week free time on their hand and no money? And so, I don't know. Things aren't going to be good. I think you could be a need for a huge amount of cops, and they'll have to come up with robo-cops. That'll be the next thing. But I think it's all a scam, because they don't need AI. They don't need what AI is going to do. You don't need ChatGPT or Claude now. Claude, I don't know what the hell that is. You don't need Claude. You can do whatever you got to do without it. They're just trying to fire you so they don't have to pay you. But without paying you, it's like Ford. He paid his workers so much money so they could buy a car. If nobody could buy the car, what's the point in building it? So if they're going to fire everybody, are we all going to go live at the IT guy's house? The computer mechanic guy's house? I mean, there's not much foresight into what we're going to do or how we're going to do it when we get there. And we're getting there quickly. The prices of your devices and your TVs and your phones and all the devices used are going to go up because they're going to have AI built in them. You're going to need NVIDIA chips in them, stuff like that. So you're going to pay more for that. And you're going to pay more so you lose your job. How do you pay for an expensive chip with no job? So the logistics are just horrible. And I don't think politicians aren't talking about it because they don't want to scare you. The companies aren't talking about it either. It's like Apple is saying, oh, AI is coming. We're working on Apple Intelligence. They don't have anything definitive of what it is. Right now it's just a glorified spell checker. But It goes much further than that. And it's all going to be behind the scenes. You're not going to see it. You're going to go to a doctor's office, you're going to do a test, and AI is going to determine whether you have cancer or not. And you're not going to work AI, and most likely neither are the doctors. So it's just going to be built in. So I don't know. The field is too wide open right now to narrow it down to a focal point that you can make sense of. But you have to think, you know, I know some of you are in school and you're thinking, well, what can I go to school to protect myself from an AI future? And that's a tough one to say. It's really tough. Even social work, you forget customer service, school teaching, it's all at risk. And doctors, it's all at risk. Lawyers, it's all at risk. So, I don't know. Accountants, everything, it's all at risk. And we won't know until it happens. And that's the problem. The transition is going to be quick, and we don't handle quick transition. The computers in themselves have been a quick transition. It's been 20, 30 years that they've arrived on the scene. And the first desktop was IBM, and I believe it was in 1990s or something, that's earlier than that. And that was the first one. And now we've come a long way from that. It's not going to be 30 years that AI is going to take over. It might be 3 years. So it's going to be hard to adjust. And they're going to want to stick to the old system, You don't have any money, you can't buy something. You don't have any money, you can't live in your house. Meanwhile, you can't make any money because everybody's fired. So it's going to be a quagmire, cluster F. And I don't have any simple answers for you. I don't have enough information, and I don't think you do either, to come up with definitive answers. And anything we come up with is just mere speculation. But you got to admit, they spent trillions of dollars on it. That money went somewhere. It went for something. It wasn't just burned up in a furnace. They used it. And now they have what they have. And I think I have a lot that they're not talking about. It's all proprietary. They want to protect it. They don't want someone to steal their ideas. And when they release it, it's going to be released and no taking it back. And Apple or ChatGPT or Google is going to own it. And they don't want the competition. So I think among those groups, they're all speculating on what each one is doing. And that's why they don't want to work together. They don't want to corroborate. They want their own. That's why Apple went by itself. Apple went on its own, and because they don't want to share it. The greed is going to get them all. It's going to kill us because the greed is going to be the worst part. And I don't know. Is it going to be welfare checks for all? Are we even going to need money? I mean, the gamut is open for anything. So I just lay these things down, hoping you'll think, and think before you act, because I don't think it'll be that bad. I think the change will be drastic, but I don't know that it will be that bad. It's kind of like my stock split. The change would be drastic, going from $1,000 apartment to $100 apartment, and you're in the same apartment. That's a drastic change, but it's going to be a good change. So I don't know that it's going to be a bad change. I think it's just something we're going to have to get used to, and something that, again, will change over time. And whatever happens, when it happens, it won't be that way a year later, or 2 or 3 years later, or 30 years later. You can't imagine what this world's going to be like 30 years from now. So And 30 years is a blip. It's not even a blip in the times continuum. It's not even a blip. So, we act like 30 years is a long time, and it's not. So, but the way things are going, 3 years is a long time, considering the change we're looking at. And it's going to be quick. And don't expect your news to tell you the truth, because they're going to lie to you. Your government's going to lie to you. The companies are going to lie to you. They're all going to lie to you. So just expect it.